we need to talk anyway, because as I'm getting ready for work here this morning, I thought about one of the biggest issues that women of color have, especially, is the dark spots. Hyperpigmentation is probably also been called, brown spots, dark it is, but it's the spots in our face that could be one of our biggest issues that plague us. And so the other bigger part of that is, why aren't they fading? So if your dark spots are not fading quickly enough for you, or not fading at all, I'm gonna say that you're probably making some of these big skincare mistakes. So while I get ready for work and get my morning routine going, we're going to talk about those big big skincare mistakes that you might be making that's preventing the dark spots from fading quickly. I used to think I was doing everything right. I thought I was using the right products. I thought I was doing it all correct. But for some reason, the dark spots will stay forever. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is, it hits your confidence, when you're walking around and like you need to wear makeup to cover it. You don't feel like you have that clear, even skin. And so if that's your issue, let's fix it today. My name is Ayana Peterson, and on this channel, we talk about a luxe lifestyle on a budget. And that includes skincare, because I do believe that access to good skincare does not mean that you have to have access to a lot of money. And so I try to talk about all the different ways in which you can use things that are, there for you in the drugstores without having to spend a lot, that it will also be absolutely effective. And for me, I struggled a lot with dark spots. I struggled with anything on my face that left a mark and didn't know how to quickly move that mark away, how to get it to fade. Because you are that, especially if you're a person of color, that when your skin is irritated, when there's any type of inflammation, you are probably going to get a dark spot. Doesn't mean that you have to live with it for years. And that is what I struggled with in the beginning, until I realized that I was making probably all of these skincare mistakes. So let me know in the comments if you routine do you swear by to help fade your dark spots. As I said, I'm getting ready for work, so I'm doing this here. Hey, Karen, thank you. Hey, Thrifting Atlanta, thank you for jumping on. Okay, so I used the CeraVe cleanser already, and now I'm just gonna go in with my toner and see what we have here. This is my Good Molecules Niacinamide brightening toner that I absolutely love. If you have access to an Ulta, they're in Target now, you definitely need to get this. If you're a person of color, you need this. If you're not a person of color, you need this. I am not sponsored in any way by them. However, it's a really good product. And for the price, it is really, really affordable. I think this is about $12 to $14, but it will last you for, because you're not going to waste your products on any type of cotton ball, but you just get it on your face and you get it in there. Yes, it is an absolute game changer. Okay, so let's talk about the first skin mistake you're making that is preventing those dark spots from fading quickly. And the mistake number one is skipping sunscreen. Had I known about this when I was a teenager, I would probably have had the glow up skin, period. But no one taught me about using sunscreen, especially as a brown girl. That was just not a thing. Like, you don't need sunscreen when you are black. Not true, okay? So if you have dark spots and you are trying to get those suckers to get off of your face quickly, SPF is non-negotiable. You cannot fade dark spots while you continue to not wear sunscreen. That is the research. And if you want to continue to not go along with what the research and what pure evidence is saying, then do you. But understand, if you have dark spots, it's going to take even longer to go if you're not wearing SPF. And when I say wearing SPF, I'm talking about 365 days of the year. Winter, whether wherever you are, indoors if you're not going inside. I mean, I wear it religiously. It's non-negotiable. SPF is non-negotiable for black skin because honestly, the reason that the UV rays coming in actually darkens the spot. Now, it absolutely makes sense, right? If you can tan a body, right? Like if people go out in the sun to tan, why would the dark spots not tan itself? Psh. And when I got that concept, it made so much more sense. So the days especially where a new dark spot pops up on your skin, like you got to be even more vigilant with that sunscreen. You got to be vigilant because that is what is absolutely making the dark spots worse. The hyperpigmentation gets darker because the UV rays. And if you are on a black person, because we tend to get the dark spots more than our Caucasian beauties, then understand sunscreen is just for, it's also not just for us, but also for us. Let me know in the comments if you religiously wear sunscreen or if you know I'll wear it in the summer. Because if that's what you're doing, I promise you, if you switch that and you start wearing the sunscreen, you will see a remarkable difference in how quickly the dark spots fade and how quickly your skin starts to bounce back. Sunscreen, sunscreen. It is not just for our Caucasian beauties, our Asian beauties. It is an absolute must for our melanated beauties, especially if you have dark spots. It's added like part of the routine. If you have dark spots, you look in and you're doing your routine, know that the sunscreen is another part of the routine that's going to help with the dark spots. Okay, so as I said, in my skincare routine just now is this hyaluronic acid hydra power essence, and because it is me in the winter and I'm using a indoor heater in my office, I need to add this in there because I want to make sure my skin is really not getting dried out during the day. So I'm adding this to add that extra hydration because the hyaluronic acid is just another way to get my whatever moisture is in the air. It's like a magnet that pulls moisture and keeps it there for me for a little longer. And because I'm using a humidifier in my office, I need to bump up my hydration because I already have naturally very dry skin. Okay, so we talked about mistake number one, as in not using SPF. You might be using too many harsh products. Now, ladies, a lot of us may think our skin is not sensitive, but for brown ladies, for melanated beauties, our skin is more sensitive than you may think, especially when it comes to how quickly our skin can be irritated. When it's irritated or inflamed in any way, that's where we're going to get those dark spots. Hyperpigmentation. Okay, so if you're using many actives, so I know a lot of us are all about these skin talk and go on TikTok and find our information there. We go on YouTube and find it, and then we go on Instagram and find more. And a lot of people are going to give you good advice, but you just have to know what your skin needs. Okay, that's the biggest thing. You need to know what your skin needs, and you also need to know what you're trying to accomplish. And so a lot of the actives out there are really, really good. Your vitamin C, your AAH, your AHAs, your BHAs, like that. I'm sure a lot of people know the lactic acid, your vitamin C's, your retinols. Those are all actives, meaning they get into the skin and they're supposed to work and do something for you. Now, if you're using too much of that, it can irritate the skin. And I've been there before, because when you get a new product or someone suggests like, oh my goodness, this is going to fade your skin overnight, you go ham. Like, oh my, why is this all over me? Okay, you go ham because you're like, I just need these dark spots gone. And so when you do that, you start to use a lot of products which can irritate your skin. I'm gonna jump into the chat real quick here. Good morning, Agnes, Maria, thank you for jumping in. She says, I wear tinted sunscreen, but I don't reapply throughout the day. I gotta do better. Now, the tinted sunscreen or the mineral sunscreen, Maria, that is chef's kiss, especially if you're someone tackling any type of dark spots. Reapplying is always going to be, I also have to do better because I don't reapply as much. You're supposed to reapply every 2 hours. So I'm looking forward to the day when it's just very natural for me to jump in and get in, that extra thing. And Isha, thank you for jumping in. Okay, so we're talking about the skincare mistakes we're making that's not fading, and we're on to skincare mistake number 2, which is using too many harsh products, especially our actives. And so simple is best. If you feel that your skin is getting irritated, then immediately stop whatever the active is for a little bit. I'm not saying forever, or understand how often you should be using it. I did a video a couple of days ago about, when some skincare mistakes that people make in general, and that is over exfoliating, which is part of using those actives. And that could really irritate the skin. And when our skin, especially as dark skin beauties, when our skin is irritated, we are going to end up with hyperpigmentation. It's just the part of how our bodies are made up. So you want to watch out and be very, be in tune with your skin. So the other day, I know I went a little too much on my retinol one evening, sorry. And so the next area, and 2, that night I stayed. You do not want to irritate the skin. I don't want dark spots. So one of the big things is trying to prevent it in the first place. Okay? Okay, now drop an emoji if you have more than 3 skincare products in your routine right now. I definitely do, but I'm very conscious of what, how we move through it. Okay, if you've ever felt like your skincare is doing too much, like you wake up and you're like, ooh, this is, just type me in the comment. If you feel like, you wake up and you're realizing like, oh my goodness, something is not going on, type me in the comment. Because that was me the other day, like, ooh, we got to tone this down. Okay. All right. So I just added my vitamin C. I use vitamin C only in the mornings because I use my tretinoin in the evening. Vitamin C is Vitano C. It's a Japanese brand. I have not reviewed it yet because, and so it's a concentrated serum made in Japan, and really excited about trying something different, and we'll see. Remember, vitamin C is supposed to brighten the skin, so I'm going to see if there's been a noticeable impact on if my skin is brighter at the end of those 30 days. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about another thing that is a skincare mistake that you're making that might be allowing for your skin, the dark spots not to fade, and that is picking at pimples and scars. I am guilty, and because I on black spots, it is the number one reason I have stopped doing it. Because when you pick at your skin and you pick at your scars, you actually you irritate and inflame the skin more. And for dark skin beauties, when our skin is irritated, we are going to get that hyperpigmentation. So hands off your face. Picking creates what they call post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, and that could take 2 times longer to fade on melanated skin. So if you get a pimple and you want to burst it or break it, you want to use a pimple patch or any type of hydrocolloid bandage, and they just come in little dots. They even have them in like stars and stuff these days, and you want to put that on there and just leave it. If you get a dark mark though, because as I said, once our skin is or irritated in any way, which a pimple is an irritation to skin, we are going to get a dark spot. But you want to start treating it quickly with a brightening serum. You do not want to just let it sit, because then all, the spot. Let me know I'm still here. I'm having some problems with my internet. If you have acne, understand that you want to treat the acne first and then treat the dark spots, right? Like if you're someone who's struggling with acne, breakouts, and all of those things, you want to treat those first, because the problem with not treating those first is that every time you get a pimple or any you break out, you are going to get some dark spots left behind. And so you're going to always be in that, that vicious circle of trying to fix the dark spots and the acne. You want to do acne, what's causing me to break out, what's causing all these pimples, what's causing the acne. And then once you're able to clean and fix the acne, then we can move on to taking care of our dark spots. Okay, now, as I said, my skin, good morning, Nisi, thank you. Nisi the Budgetnista, love the name. Okay, so one of the things I want to talk about really quickly is this moisturizing, well, it's not a moisturizing, it's the Ordinary Soothing and Barrier Support Serum. As I mentioned before, my skin, because of retinol, and I went a little wonky the other day, not really break, irritated. And so I'm working on calming down the skin barrier. And so this I use during those days when the skin barrier just feels like it needs an extra, what would we say? It needs an extra boost. And so half of my skincare keeps falling on my shirt. Okay, so mistake number 4 is one that a lot of people don't realize when it comes to dark spots. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly talk about that mistake and get options of budget-friendly things that you can buy at the drugstore or places that you can get for if you're struggling with any dark spots. Because it's not that you know what the mistakes are, then you can figure out, okay, what really are the products that really, dry skin slows down skin repair. So if you have hydrated skin, it's going to help heal dark spots faster. Okay, look for moisturizers, hyaluronic acid, and all those ceramides and niacinamide that helps with helping keep moisture on the skin, because that's what's going to help the dark spots a lot. A lightweight hydrating moisturizer for someone who has oily skin is key for even skin. Not moisturizing, even if you have oil in live still. So we're gonna see at the end of this. All right, so now what are some actual skincare ingredients that really will work and that you should use in your skincare routine? Before I talk about that, just understand though, when you have hyperpigmentation or dark spots, it does take a long time to heal. I'm just gonna put that out there. You gotta be patient, you gotta be diligent with your skincare routine, because if you're not, those dark spots will take a longer time to fade. It's just the way it is. Okay, so using a simple, if you want to talk solely that we are trying to battle dark spots, here are some perfect ingredients that have been researched and been known to work for dark spots. I use these all because when I got serious with my skincare, I needed products that had those ingredients, because I just needed to get that going. Thrifting in Atlanta said, how long is a long time? A long time could be about 4 to 6 months. And if you have really dark spots, depending on how you got those dark spots, it could be a good year. I'm talking about mostly post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, meaning something happened, there was a cut, there was a scratch, there was a bite, something happened to the face. Versus melasma, which is something that we could talk about in a different segment, but you need more invasive procedures and a dermatologist to really help that. Age spots or sunspots can last about a year if you refuse to wear the sunscreen. So be careful. I mean, dark spots do take a while, but if you're doing the right things, you can um, you can definitely push them back, or you can help fade them quickly. So I'm going to give you a couple of ingredients that are what we call powerhouse ingredients for those dark spots. And the first one is one of my favorite, is niacinamide. Okay, niacinamide is fades dark spots, and it controls oils, controls the barrier, the skincare barrier. Niacinamide